Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another video. This week I want to talk about narcissism, and we're going to get into what makes someone good supply. And I want to go further with this because, to be frank, if you've watched enough videos on this, there's not too many differences, but there is one slight difference between partners. So let's talk about narcissism, and let's talk about whether it is, hey Steph, I don't want to attract another narcissist again. Hey Steph, like I've been discarded, now this person's with someone else. Like what did they have that I don't have? So first thing, all toxic people want is someone who's giving, who's kind, who's empathetic, who's easygoing, because that person has one thing in common. They have poor boundaries. Someone is very passive, very easygoing, and highly empathetic, and that's something that you just are naturally a caretaker. You're just naturally a giving person. But even with someone who's an empath, which is a beautiful quality, and we need more empaths in the world because you are essentially the healers of this world, there has to be boundaries with that. There has to be a point where we say, wait. I need to take care of myself first. I need to make sure that I'm honoring what I think and how I feel. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm always going to get taken advantage of, because if you have no boundaries, then people are just going to run amok in your life and they're going to give you the abuse and you're going to take it because you're not telling people how you want to be treated. And if you have poor boundaries, you're always going to, essentially that is a person who is intriguing to someone who's narcissistic. The person that this toxic person wants to be with is a person that will see them abusing them or treating them poorly or not putting the relationship first. And I'm talking about consistent behavior and not say anything, not hold this person accountable. So since the toxic person kind of lives their life in delusion that the world revolves around them and that no one else should have their own thoughts and opinions. No one else should come in and say, hey, when you did that, I actually found that really disrespectful. So because they don't want to hear any of that, they don't want to be in a relationship with that type of person. If you're the type of person that fears confrontation and you don't know what you think and how you feel, and even if you do, you've probably put this person on some levels on a pedestal that they should never have been on. And when you do that, you're always now at the mercy of that person because you're looking to that person to actually give you the love, the validation, the support, all of the stuff that you're not giving yourself. So if you're a kind, giving person to a fault where you put yourself second, then this person that you're with, your whole life is wrapped up around this. Their career, their dreams, how they feel, are they comfortable? I want to make them happy, rather than kind of taking a step back and saying, well, who am I? And what do I need? And how do I want to be treated in a relationship? And really doing that digging and that self-discovery. A lot of times when we're in these dysfunctional relationships, we don't even realize how dysfunctional we are ourselves. And it takes going through so much pain. Remember that pain point, everyone's different, their pain threshold. And it takes going through all of that for all of a sudden one day for you to just kind of wake up and go, wait a minute, I can't do this anymore. And you start to kind of like do that inner work. All of a sudden you start going through a little bit of that awakening process. Everyone's going to hit that point at some point. And so when you do, and you start to speak up and you start to go against that person, or you start to have a thought and opinion, you are no longer now a good source. If you're just a person that doesn't look at them in a certain way, doesn't, put them on that pedestal like they're God, that could be kind of like the nail in the coffin for them to say, you know what, this isn't even exciting anymore. I want nothing to do with this. Because remember, someone who's toxic is emotionally immature, which means I don't want to work on relationships. I just want shiny new toys. So if something's wrong in this, I'm not going to fix it, because to fix it, I have to do work, and I'm not doing any work. This isn't about me. This is actually about you. So you're toxic, you're unhealthy, you're dysfunctional, and that's why I'm leaving the relationship. When you're an empath and you're someone who really is empathetic and you want to fix and you're a healer and you want to help people, when you are dealing with someone who's perhaps even a little covert with it, and you see the wounded bird and you see like, oh, you had such a tough childhood and this is what happened to you and I'm so sorry, and let me have some compassion for that and sympathy. And while we can do all of those things, and that's amazing that you have that ability to really care, right? And if you're any kind of a human, obviously when you hear someone that's gone through something difficult, no matter what it is, your heart goes to them, but you don't lose yourself in the process. Now, to be good supply, you have to, like I said, you have to put this person on a pedestal, and you have to believe on some levels that you got the prize. So if you believe that this is just the best person, the catch, like I won, I got this person. And that doesn't mean that you can't think that about your partner, but you can't think it and not acknowledge that they actually are a human being and that they have flaws and that they're not above anyone or you. They might just be like a really great person, and that's totally fine. But again, those standards and that accountability still has to be there, because no one should be on a pedestal above you. So here's the only difference between sources of supply. So partners that are someone who's narcissistic is either going to want the pushover, the easygoing, the I just want to fix you empath, right? That's that person. No boundaries whatsoever, and just a giver. Just willing to like deal and put up with whatever this person has to give. That's that person. On the other side, there is the person that is strong, confident, does have thoughts and opinions. You can also, in the beginning, be a really good source of supply, because you are essentially representing all of the things that this particular narcissist values. They don't like that you're this way, but they value who you are. So I almost want to say not necessarily like a trophy wife, because I think sometimes when we think of trophy wife, we think of the person that doesn't have any opinions and all of that. But if you're with someone who values status and money, physical appearance, your looks, how you make them feel when you're standing near them in a room, that you are, smart and intelligent and you can articulate yourself in a really confident way. If you're successful, then they're going to eat that up because you are with them. And so it helps the ego to get boosted. So for someone who's toxic, narcissistic, that type of man or woman could actually be very, very attractive to them. Now, what happens is throughout the dating process, what they're trying to do is see, can I actually manipulate you? What are your weak points? Like all narcissists do. They want to study you because they want to know, where are you the most vulnerable? So they'll pretend, they'll play this character really well. They'll love bomb you. They'll do all these things. And now if you're not aware of this, and you do come from some insecurities and fear and lack, then you're going to eat it up. And then you're going to get entangled in this. And then this confident person at one point in the beginning of the relationship all of a sudden becomes really insecure, or now very dependent on this person. And I get often from people that are like, wait a minute, I was really healthy before I met this person, and now it's like I can't even make a decision without calling them, or I need them, or I'm so distraught by this relationship not working out. Because the fact of the matter is, you were probably healthy, but there were still some wounds that you hadn't healed, and they found them. And they targeted them and they hooked them. And that's what kept you in this relationship and entangled. And that's where you started to lose yourself. So for someone, now, if you are so strong and so healthy, you cannot be manipulated. That's it. That's how it goes. If you're healthy within your own self, you are not a person that's going to be easily manipulated, because you know what manipulation sounds like. You know what's going on in this relationship. You know that was passive aggressive. You didn't own your stuff there. And so when you start holding someone accountable early on in dating, you're not going to be interesting to someone who's toxic, which is a really great thing, which is exactly what you want. So I hope this video has helped you understand what makes you a good source of supply for someone who is toxic. Like always, I'm so intrigued to hear about your experiences. So definitely comment down below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week.